Ah, Starfox. Who doesn't love flying through space, shooting down barely distinguishable polygons as an anthropomorphic fox that's had his legs surgically removed for the sake of flying better? Okay, that last part is a myth, but it was a genuine question in 1993, the year this game came out. Produced by none other than Shigeru Miyamoto, this game utilizes one of the most advanced graphic chips on the Super Nintendo, the Super FX chip. That's what makes this game great, and is the same reason we've never seen it ported to any other Nintendo console. See, Nintendo never owned the patent for the Super FX chip, so we might not ever see this game on a more modern console outside of emulation. An emulation you might crave, since this game clocks in at a whopping sub 30 FPS on original hardware. It's definitely playable, but for someone spoiled by the frame rates of newer games, you might be left with something that feels too archaic or dissatisfying. Enough about that. How is this game really? I'll divide this into a couple of different sections in order to properly describe how each part of the game feels to play. I chose to talk about the medium difficulty path 2, in order to capture both the easy side and the harder side of the game. If you play on Route 1, imagine the game being a bit easier, and for Route 3, imagine it a little bit harder. Starfox drops you in on an ongoing war in the Lilat system, Corneria versus Venom. Or rather, Starfox versus Andros. You have to fight the enemy back all the way to their home planet and destroy their leader on their own turf. Does that sound like a daunting task? Well, not for Fox McCloud and his team of small creatures that are capable of mowing down entire armies. Your allies are Peppy Hare, a rabbit, Falco Lombardi, a falcon, and Slippy Toad, a frog. Your team is next to useless for 75% of the game since they're off screen and you never get to see them. But that other 25% of the time? Well, don't expect much more than them asking you to get an enemy off their ass. Seriously. Considering how often it happens to them, you'd think it would happen to you.
Damn it.
Good luck.
You start off in Corneria. This is the easiest stage of the game that highlights the tight controls and fluid movement that makes this game feel so natural to play. And the music gives you a great taste of what you're in for. The first boss is the attack carrier, and what can I say? This boss was made to be easy, showing you that there are obvious weak points to hit for damage.
Good luck.
The second stage takes you into space and highlights the fabulous first-person controls. Or you could be like me and push select to exit back to the normal view. You don't want to get used to it because when you reach other planets they will kick you back to third person. This level is pretty much the same idea as the first one. Shoot bad guys, dodge structures. It isn't supposed to be difficult, but it's still fun, which is one thing these first two levels do so well. They're fun because they're easy. There's no threat, it feels great to breeze through all the levels without taking a single hit. The boss of Sector X is the Rock Crusher. The same idea as the first boss. Shoot the glowing spots, blow them to bits.
Damn it. Good luck.
This is where the game starts to get a lot more fun and provide a lot more of a challenge. Titania is a fantastic example of how to make a level harder while still keeping it fun. The enemies take a couple more hits, structures are harder to dodge, and if you miss the mid-stage goal, the climate control unit, if you read the mission briefings, it loops you back around until you find it, and there's only so many options for you to choose until you inevitably run into it. The music in this stage really starts to pick up, and I'm gonna be honest, it was my ringtone for a solid few months. I mean, just listen to this track jam. Yeah, but that's nothing compared to the boss. The boss is Professor Hanger, looking nothing like what you would expect from that name, but he still lets you know that you're in for some trouble. The boss fight itself is honestly pretty easy once you get it down, but the patterns are a lot less obvious than the other bosses. The one redeeming quality for this boss, though, is the music. The music makes this fight my favorite in the game.
Good luck.
No more playing around. The final level is right around the corner, and it definitely shows. The foreboding atmosphere and the sheer emptiness of the map and music make you feel lost in space. I say that Sector Y feels empty, but it's not without its hordes of space manta rays trying to stop you. This level is a lot more difficult than the last three combined and might take you by surprise with how hard it can be. The boss here is the Plasma Hydra, and make sure to go out with a bang.
Good luck.
Alright, we've made it to Venom, the final goal. The space above Venom is the hardest level in the game on any route. You have to fight through some well-guarded swarms of bad guys, all hell-bent on taking you down. The stage gets your blood pumping as you use everything you've learned so far to swim through all sorts of adversaries. It really capitalizes on how much you learn even playing this game for your first time. By this time, if you haven't died, it's still barely 15 to 20 minutes deep. The boss here is the Metal Smasher, and you get the first good piece of advice from your friends. Use the previously optional brake mechanic in order to dodge its attacks properly. This boss isn't really easy, and coming back to it after not playing this game for a while proved to be a pretty daunting task. The final two parts of the game are grouped into one. There's the surface level of Venom, and then Andross's lair. The surface stage on this route is fairly easy, confining you to a tight space and making sure that you know exactly what you're doing with the controls in order to get through it. Galactic Rider is the boss for this stage, and it's pretty much just waiting until you get a chance to hit it. I would say it's about on par in difficulty to Professor Hanger. Clearing that boss immediately brings you into the core of Venom, the lair of Andross. He gives you a bomb and a blaster upgrade, and this is probably one of the most necessary power-ups in the game. Make sure to grab these if you need them and zoom into the trippy final battle. This boss isn't the hardest in the game, but it's definitely the most tense. Destroying Andross and flying out of the planet triggers the end of the game. And that about covers it. This game has a fantastic difficulty curve that feels natural to new players and returning players alike. If you find the first stages too easy, then that's not really a problem since it only takes less than 10 minutes to play through them. As I stated previously, this game has some frame rate issues on original hardware, so if you want to play it in its full glory, it might be best to emulate. I hope this video was helpful or entertaining. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. And if you didn't, just leave a comment telling me what I could have done better. Until next time, this is Gathnix asking you to please fly safely.